Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful day, of course. So, I was watching the news today. How many of you had watched the news in Florida, in Polk County? What happened? Disney happened. What happened at Disney? More trafficking, more sex trafficking, more child abuse. See, this is why people need to really pay attention to what's going on around them. People think Disney is this great, wonderful place. No, it's a place for trafficking. Now, I think that it was great that they did this little operation. Now, the sting only went on for 6 days. 6 days. And in 6 days, they caught 108 people. Wonderful. Imagine what they could do if they were really doing something. Because what is this? They are showing you so as to appease the public. Look, we are doing all of this to arrest these pedophiles. No, you're trying to appease the public because although they're showing the low-level trafficking and the low-level workers, they are not showing the people who created it. What about the underground tunnels at Disneyland? What about the elites that help put Disneyland together and do this stuff? You guys, this is great. This is maybe a beginning to help appease the public, but when are they really going to start helping victims? You know,
if you think about it, he was showing up at the child's residence when he thought mom and dad weren't there. But he wasn't alone. Then there's Shannon Johnson. He's 41. He's from Orlando. You know, it's interesting, the Orlando stations aren't here today. They should be, because they got a lot of these problems over in Orlando, and the community over there needs to be made aware of it. He thought he was communicating with a 13-year-old child. He wanted to be her daddy. He wanted to have different kinds of sex with what he thought was a 13-year-old child. He works at a warehouse. He was charged with traveling, attempted lewd battery, transmission of photos of himself, nude photos, you know what I mean? And he didn't have any children himself, but he wanted to play this game of daddy. That's right, he has a criminal history. And when we arrested him, he said, "You got me. You're right. We got him." So if we'd arrested 2 child predators, that would have been a grand slam week. But we got another one. This guy's from Gainesville. He's employed in construction. He did not travel, but he communicated with what he thought was a 14-year-old child online and said, "Don't tell the cops." And then he sent videos and stills of himself doing things an adult should never do in the presence of a child, or publicly, or recorded for public consumption. Nasty stuff. Rose here, Jody Rose, is a nasty, nasty guy. He's 36 years old. So we traveled to Gainesville to get him. Or we had the Alachua Sheriff's Office travel for us to get him. When we arrested him, he said, "It's just a misunderstanding." Maybe a misunderstanding on his part. It's not a misunderstanding on our part. He was sending nasty videos and photographs to children. No criminal history up until now, but now he's got 11 felony charges, so he made up for lost time with his arrest. That would have been a grand slam if we'd only gotten 3. Then there's Xavier Jackson. He's 27. He thought he was chatting with a 14-year-old, and he sent photos of himself doing things that's totally inappropriate. He did not travel, so once again, the Orange and traveled to arrest him, where he was charged with 3 counts of harmful material and 1 count of unlawful communication. Oh, did I mention that he just happens to be a lifeguard at the Polynesian Resort for Disney? You think there's a few children around there? That's right. I didn't stutter. He was a lifeguard at the Polynesian Resort for Disney and was bragging about that. So we were able to arrest 4 predators in this operation. This is huge. 4 arrests of this magnitude in a week is simply remarkable. But let's move on. These guys weren't predators, but they all have something in common with the last arrest. They work for Disney. So you have Wilkeson Fadell. He's 24. He lives in Orlando. He thought he was coming for sex. He's been a Disney employee for 4 years, and he works at the Cosmic Restaurant in Tomorrowland. Except now he is in the county jail if he hasn't made bond yet. And then there's Shahab Malav. He's 27. He's a software developer for Disney. He's worried because he's here on a work visa from India. He thought he was coming to have sex with 2 ladies. Surprise. Once again, undercover detectives. Then there's Ralph Leese. He's 45. He lives in Winter Garden. He's an IT employee for Disney. He's been there about 4 years, and he's married. So I'm sure Disney's not pleased. I bet his wife's not pleased. But we're pleased that we arrested him. I'm going to tell you about a trafficker. It's not often we arrest traffickers at the undercover site, but we did. And normally when we arrest traffickers at the undercover site, it's a male. Let me introduce you to Tiffany Nash. She was the trafficker of a young lady. Tiffany's 32 years of age. Why she's not been busy committing crime, because she has 61 previous criminal charges, 41 of them felonies and 20 as misdemeanors. She's the manager of the Kentucky Fried Chicken in Orlando. Now, I just don't believe I'd want any finger-licking good chicken that she touched. Just saying. What she does is she would set up the deal. And then she would force this young lady, this victim, to come along. This deal was for $300. If this lady were lucky, she would get $20. So the lady, the victim, Ubered over, followed by Tiffany, to make sure that the deal went right, and Tiffany got her money. As soon as we took the victim down, ostensibly for an arrest, this wonderful team determined she's a victim. So she's not criminally charged, and she's not up here on this board because she's immediately turned over and treated as a victim, not a criminal suspect in an event. So Tiffany's been charged with human trafficking, deriving proceeds, possession of cocaine, possession of meth, possession of paraphernalia, and guess what? She's not managing the Kentucky Fried Chicken place today. She's in our county jail. And we don't serve finger-licking good chicken there. The victim has been turned over for services. Then we have Daniel Peters, 66 years old. He thought he was coming for a girlfriend experience, kind of a date. He went on an escort site. Oh, can I show you the other picture of Daniel Peters? This is the Honorable Daniel Peters, who is a retired judge from Cook County, Illinois, or the Dishonorable Judge Peters from Cook County, Illinois. And when we were doing our follow-up investigation to validate all of this, what did we find out? He also retired from the Cook County Sheriff's Office, according to him. That's right. He said he was a special assistant in legal affairs, and he worked, are you ready for this, in the Office of Professional Regulations, where he was a director. You're kidding me, right? No, I'm not kidding you. As my old daddy would have said, that's a known fact. He said, quote, I've been on the other side of this. Well, I'd like to ask him today, so which side do you like best? Now that you have been the prosecutor, you've been the judge, you've been at the state attorney's office, and now you're the defendant. So we locked him up in the county jail. He says he lives in Palos Hills, Illinois. He requested an attorney. Well, Judge, you need an attorney. You got problems. He went to the jail in Polk County.
So although I think it's wonderful that they're arresting people like the people who work on the Disneyland premises who sell food and work in the smaller positions, but what about the corporate executives? What about the big investors? When are they going to go after those people? Oh, the scapegoat's the little man. Shit rolls downhill, doesn't it? And what did Disney before say their motto was? Their ultimate goal is to make money. Okay? Now, you've probably also seen my video that when I was doing adult entertainment, lightcore porn, I did porn. I was with an organization, which was a subsidiary of Disney's company. So, for those of you who've seen that video, you already know what I'm talking about. So, there are so many more people at play than these little tiny people that they're showing today.